is fairness always the same as justice? What happens when what feels fair to us doesn't align with God's way of seeing things? In Matthew 2:16, Jesus tells a parable that challenges our assumptions about fairness and invites us into a deeper understanding of God's mercy. It's a story that may initially frustrate us, but by the end, it opens our eyes to grace in a whole new light. Jesus describes a landowner who goes out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agrees to pay the first group a fair daily wage. As the day goes on, he returns several times to hire more workers at mid-morning, noon, mid-afternoon, and even 1 hour before the day ends. To each, he promises to pay what is right. At the end of the day, he calls the workers together and pays everyone the same wage, including those who only worked 1 hour. Naturally, the workers who started early protest. "That's not fair," they argue. "We worked all day in the heat, while they barely worked at all." But the landowner responds with a question that pierces the heart. "Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or do you begrudge my generosity?" The meaning of this parable is profound. It reminds us that God's kingdom doesn't operate on human terms of merit or performance. Instead, it runs on grace. The early workers represent those who've walked with God a long time. The latecomers may be new believers or people who've lived far from God, but returned late in life. In the world's economy, the long-term worker should get more. But in God's economy, everyone receives the same gift, eternal life, not because of what they've earned, but because of who God is. This challenges our pride and sense of entitlement. If we're honest, many of us want God to reward us based on effort, but the gospel flips that upside down. It's not about what we've done, it's about what Christ has done. Grace is not fair. It's better than fair. It's undeserved, unearned, and freely given. How do we respond to this kind of mercy? First, by embracing it for ourselves, laying down comparison and receiving what we could never earn. Second, by extending it to others, especially those we're tempted to judge as less deserving. If God is generous, who are we to withhold grace? This parable is not just a lesson about wages in a vineyard. It's an invitation to let God's mercy transform our sense of justice. When we truly grasp His generosity, it changes how we see ourselves and how we treat others. Take time to read Matthew 22:1-16. Let the story sit with you. Ask God to reveal any places in your heart where pride, comparison, or resentment may be blocking grace. And most of all, rejoice that in His vineyard there is always room and always mercy for anyone who is willing to come.